What's going on, guys? It's Mike for SimRacing604, and today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different, and going to be doing a tutorial. You saw some action shots hopefully off the top, and I had a viewer request how I actually put those together. So I'm going to walk you through how to sort of film those quote-unquote epic action shots. You see them across all car videos, not just sim racing videos, and they can really add something. So I figured I would just do a quick tutorial on how to get those. So first thing we want to do is go into the Assetto Corsa installation folder. So in my case, I have everything installed to D drive, Steam library, Steam apps, common, Assetto Corsa. And from within your Assetto Corsa installation folder, look for System, Config, and then the top .ini file is Assetto_Corsa. Double click it, you should have it in a text editor. If that doesn't happen, you should be able to just right click and choose Open With and choose whichever text editor you prefer. And somewhere about 2/3 of the way down, you should see camera, and then allow free camera. By default, it's set to 0. Make sure you set that to 1. Actually, just in case, it's a good idea to take a backup of this file and then go to File and Save, and that's all you need to do. Now, from there, when you're in a replay in Assetto Corsa, you can just press F7, and you'll have control over the camera, but we'll get into that. So let's go ahead and boot into game. I've got some replay footage I want to go over, and we'll just do a couple of shots, and I'll show you what it can look like. Okay, guys, so we're now in Assetto Corsa. I'm doing some terrible driving here with the 488 at Silverstone, obviously, and I'll skip ahead. And by the way, before we even get started with this, I just want to credit 2 channels for sort of inspiring me. By no means am I great at video editing and these action shots. I are my best attempt at something cool, but there's a number of guys who do it really well, and the 2 that inspired me the most, first and foremost, Chris Hay. I followed Chris. Chris is huge now, but I followed him since he was at like 1,000 subscribers or something like that. And I remember watching his videos and thinking I could no longer be lazy with my video production. Not that it's great now, but I remember thinking that he was going to raise the bar, and he has, for what a sim racing video should look like. So credit to Chris, and also Dre Marcos. Dre doesn't make a lot of videos now. He's gone on to other exciting things, but Dre makes fantastic videos, and he made a few. You can do this in, I'm using Assetto Corsa because I like the free cam controls, but you can do it in any sim really, and Dre, whatever he does, he just makes the most of it, and they look like professional, like manufacturer videos. So if any, by the way, if any modder is looking to promote their mod a little bit more, get Dre to make you a video, kick him a few bucks, and I mean, his videos are beautiful. So credit to them. They're sort of the inspiration for what I'm doing here. So anyway, I'm driving, so I went off track here and through Beckett's into Chapel. Could be wrong about that. I do a little power slide. Let's have a look here. Okay, kind of frame skip there, so a little power slide, gets traction. And then back on the throttle to head down the straight. Now that might not have looked like much, but it's enough. So the camera tends to really like power slides, overtakes, and corner exits. Those are the 3 that I sort of focus on, and you'll see a lot of sim tubers who are really good video editors. You'll see them focus on the same sorts of things. So again, it doesn't look like much. Let's have one more look at it here. Not a great power slide by any means, but it's enough. It's enough. So let's go back a little bit, and remember what I said about the free cam. So I'm now going to press F7. Nothing happens, but that's okay. So we have control using the arrow keys on our keyboard, and we can move the camera around where we want. We can also hold the right mouse button down on the screen and pan that camera. We can use the scroll wheel to zoom, and yeah, up, down, left, right, all with holding down the right mouse button. And again, the arrow changes the camera's location, forward, back, whatever. So I'm going to come in here a little closer. I'm going to come at ground level. That's the first thing I do, is usually find a decent angle. So let's see what this looks like. And nope, I missed the slide entirely, so I'm going to go ahead and back the camera out so we can kind of capture that slide. Let's see what that looks like again. Still missing it. Okay, and this might do it. This is actually a decent angle here. And it's a good idea. You can't really hear it. I've got the volume turned down so you can hear my voice. All right, so that's a pretty good one. Okay, so that one could be good enough to be in one of my videos. It's not fantastic, but it's probably good enough. Let's take one more look at it here. I'll hide myself for a second. All right, so that's a decent video, okay, or a decent clip rather. The only other thing I would advise in terms of the camera angle, good to, because we have complete control. You're not going to break your camera. It's not real, obviously. So we can go wherever we want. We can put it right down at track level. Let's try this one more time. All right, so that's a pretty cool shot. The only thing I don't like about this angle so far, angle is the first thing I said. The only thing I don't like about it so far is this background is hideous. There's nothing there to sort of inspire. So a couple of things we could do about that. One, we can change the angle and look at the slide from a different perspective, or we can mess around with the lighting. So if you go into your apps and the shaders patch weather, if you have the custom shaders patch enabled, which I hope you do, you can click it, and as you can see, it's 9:54 a.m. right now. Let's go ahead and skip that ahead 12 hours. All right, so already that lighting is better. We're not quite into the golden hour yet. Is that golden hour enough? That's pretty good right there. Let's try that. So again, you could just skip ahead by 6 hours, by 45 minutes, or by 5-minute increments using the Weather Effects app. It comes with a custom shaders patch. Much better, much better. Let's do this. I'm gonna back myself off slightly, hide my camera, and one more go here. Much better. That's a huge improvement. So that's just by changing the lighting in the background. I like it. It's got the long shadows. It's got that sort of golden hour feel. Something else that we can do, like I said, is change the background. So we can look at this from a different angle. A little bit dizzying here, I'm sure. I apologize about that. But we're going to get down to track level, more like track level. And as you can see, well, even that's not great, but we can capture a lot more. We can get in such a way that we capture the Silverstone sign there. And let's see here. Okay, so what I like to do is, if possible, a lot of, oops, sorry you guys can't see me. That might be a good thing. But I like to have it where the car's motion kind of goes from one extreme, like the far left of the screen, to the far right of the screen, roughly. So if we look at that one more time. Okay, so it comes over about 2/3 of the way and then disappears off screen, unfortunately, so that's not good. So I'm trying to keep that Silverstone sign in on the screen, and let's see where the car goes now. Capture this entire thing on screen. Yes, okay, so that's a good one. So I'm gonna hide myself here. You can see, watch where the car goes. So quite far left, almost to the extreme left side, and then to the extreme right side. So that's pretty much perfect. You've got that Silverstone sign in the background. So that to me is a good shot. And again, we can kind of mess around with the lighting. I don't love the lighting from this angle. Let's skip back 12 hours so the lighting is actually inverted. Let's go 6 more hours, and too far. So this is early morning. It's not even 8 a.m. yet. There was something cool. That's kind of neat, but I wish I had Wish I had headlights enabled. Let's take a look at that, see how that looks. This would definitely be headlights condition, so it's gonna look kind of goofy. It's decent. Let's see. Midday tends to be a little bit boring. I think I'm gonna go back to where we have the Silverstone sign illuminated and maybe a little bit darker on the track. The shadows are getting kind of long here. That's fine for me right there. You guys can mess around. I'm not an artistic person by nature, so you guys can mess around and try different settings and see which light works for you. I kind of like that. Yeah, I like the way it shines off the back of the car there. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, so we're getting closer towards having an action shot here. So I'm going to keep this angle. The only thing I'm gonna do is back up a bit because we're gonna introduce something now, and that is motion. So if I go back and I'm listening for those audio cues, and the car is getting closer and closer. So I'm gonna use motion and I'm recording. So if I pan with the car, makes kind of a cool effect. It went way off screen there, but let's try this again. The other thing you can do with motion is you can hold shift and get slow motion. So let's see. And that fence is kind of a limiting factor. I'd like to start further back, but all right, so I'm gonna hold shift and forward and timing it. So even that little bit of motion does give some life to the shot, so you can try that. But it's not a great angle because, again, we're limited by that fence. So what I'm going to do is actually try something completely different here. Come around the other way. This is back towards the first position we were in. So let's take a look at this. This is strictly to set up a motion shot. Okay, way too far out. So we're back looking at that grandstand, which I'm not a fan of unless it was occupied. But we're gonna kind of pull the camera. So I'm gonna hold shift and click back. It's a little bit hard to see, actually. It might be too hard to see. You can hold shift and do slow motion or a slower moving camera if you want. In this one, I'm gonna do the fast moving camera. Nope, didn't work. So we're going to try a different angle here. So that was kind of cool. So let's try that one more time here. So I think that has potential. And I'm going to try something else for the motion. So I'm going to use slow motion. So if you see these slow controls here at the bottom of your Assetto Corsa replay, if you click it, it goes all the way up to 10x, I believe, so that's 10 times slower than normal camera speed. I usually hover somewhere in the 2 to 4 range. We'll keep it at 3 for now, and then we're going to use the shift and back arrow to kind of capture the motion of the car. I'm going to change my angle slightly, so we're watching for that camera to come on screen. So we'll do a screen capture, of course, if we're making this for a video. So come on, car, where are you? Did it not? All right, so that's too fast. So let's see here. Yeah, too fast. So I'm gonna go 5x. And we're just gonna start in pretty close here. And we're just watching for that camera, the car to come on screen rather. And I am not capturing enough of it. Okay, so we'll wait for this guy to come on screen. As soon as it comes on screen, I'm gonna hold shift and the down arrow, and we should be kind of moving the camera back with the car. So here we go, shift and back. So it's off screen. If I was really picky, I would want that on screen. So let's try that one more time here. I'm starting to mess with the angle a bit much, but we'll see what comes out here. So we're at 5x. Let's go 4x. We'll start in quite close. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We started a bit close. I'm gonna go 5x again. So we see that camera, the car coming around, slowly backing out. Car just off the edge of the screen there. Car's a bit dirty, so that affects it. But anyway, that's like a slow panning action shot. So that one would look pretty cool, set to music with a bit of post-production work. And by the way, on the note of post-production work, a lot of people add post-processing filters, different color effects, things like that. That's far outside my wheelhouse. I don't know anything about camera lighting and camera colors and things like that. Lighting effects, color effects, I don't know anything about it. I married a photographer, but somehow gleaned none of the knowledge. So there's that. So that was a slow panning forward shot. And let's try for the Chris Hay, something Chris Hay loves to do, and he's far, far better than I could ever be at it. But he loves these shots where, let's see, where's the car? The car is coming. Where there's a lot of motion and the camera ends up, let's see here, something like this. And the car ends up, or the camera ends up capturing a huge sort of scenery shot. He loves these, he's very good at it, and it's part of what adds to the magic of his videos. So I'm gonna start quite low here, and he will do something like this. So my timing was off, but let's try that one more time here. Timing is still off. Let's try one more here. Last one. So we're watching for that car. So he loves shots like this. Yeah, that's just slightly out of frame, but he loves that shot. It's a really cool effect. I love when he does that. And he's very, very good at it, far better than I could. This is another one where you would have to be mindful of what's going on in terms of timing. So that sky is going to matter a lot. Let's see, that's 5. Let's see here. Yes, something like that. So back it up. So yeah, this is sort of a Chris Hay patent, and he's really, really good at these shots. I'm going to decrease that angle slightly. So it turns out to be a really beautiful shot, and yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. So I've got a few principles that we covered here. Number one is the camera angle. Again, you don't have to worry about breaking the camera or anything like that. You can get to crazy angles that photographers would not normally be able to get to, or videographers would not normally be able to get to. So get right in there, choose cool angles, get down to track level if you want, or start high, it doesn't matter. But you can get to anywhere, and be sure to take advantage of that. And also, you're responsible for everything in the frame. It's easy to get focused on just the car and what the car is doing, but remember that the scenery, as we're seeing on screen here, the scenery matters a lot, and it really sets the tone for things. Something I haven't covered yet is music, but you'll see, probably you saw in the introduction, hopefully, and also you can see when I wrap this clip up. But music matters a lot. It matters a lot, and it really sets the tone. If you Google YouTube royalty-free music, you can find a whole slew of free songs, probably hundreds of thousands of free songs, and yeah, add that, and it really does make a difference, as does a bit of fade in, fade out, things like that. So a tiny bit of post-production. I use Power Director. You can often find Power Director in Humble Bundle sales. I got mine for like $10 or something like that. Premiere is an excellent tool, but it's very expensive. I believe that's what Chris uses. So there's a lot of options. Just add a bit of music, a bit of fade in, fade out. If you want, you can experiment with color and post-processing. I personally don't, but more power to you if you do. And yeah, don't be afraid to experiment with some camera motion as well. Try pulling back with the camera, or going pulling back with the car. Going forward into the car as it's kind of racing towards you, and yeah, and slow motion. You can experiment with slow motion, see how things turn out. So I hope that was helpful, guys. Again, I'm far from an expert, but I've had some recent success with it just through experimentation, and I thought I'd share with you by viewer request. So thanks so much for the excellent request, and we'll see you guys next time.